Todd's vlog. I'm headed back out to the pool after not being there for 3 days and it having rained. My prediction is the pH is going to be a little bit high and the alkalinity is going to be very high since I just added Supreme Plus. So let's find out. Okay, so I'm here at the pool. Take a look at it. Looks really good despite the rain. It's still clear, there's no cloudiness. There's no algae growing. So let's go ahead and test the water and see what's going on. So the chlorine was a little bit low. It was like 0.5, but that's okay. That's normal after a heavy rain like we experienced. As you can see, the pool looks good, and I got a tab in there dissolving chlorine, so I think we're going to be okay on that. The pH was perfect. It was like 7.2 still. The only thing that was messed up was the alkalinity. It was a little bit high. It was like 200, and that's normal after adding Supreme Plus for the first time. So what I'm going to do now is figure out how much acid to add to the pool to bring the alkalinity back down. So I'm at 200, which is way high. So I need to bring it down about 90 parts per million. So 90 parts per million, 10,000 gallons would be 1.8 gallons of acid, plus about 3.5 quarts, which is about another gallon. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2.5 gallons of acid. First things first, got my gloves on. Always want to have gloves on when you're messing with acid. Now, when you have to add large amounts of acid like this, it's best to pre-dilute it in a 5-gallon bucket first. So let's go ahead and do that. Then we're going to want to take the bucket and pour it around the perimeter of the pool. I want to show y'all something real quick. Remember, we put a chlorine tablet in on Monday. It is now Saturday, and I want to show you how little it's actually dissolved. I'm using the high-tech tabs in this pool, and those are actually a more efficient dissolving tablet. So the fact that barely any of that is dissolved gives testament to how much calcium is in this pool. The water is very hard, which means there's a lot of dissolved solids and the water is pretty saturated with stuff. Basically, since there's a high level of calcium, there's more dissolved particles in the water itself, so it's going to be more difficult for tablets to dissolve. So with this pool, I'm probably going to have to put in about 2 tabs at a go and leave the flow meter all the way open because these tablets are taking longer to dissolve. So I'm going to go ahead and add another tablet real quick. Put the meter all the way open because the water is a bit harder. And then get the thing kick-started back going again. Remember all that foam on Wednesday? Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday. Oh well, remember all that foam? It's getting better. It's not as bad as it was. Everything's mixing into solution, so we're doing pretty good there. Okay, since the free chlorine was a little bit low, I'm going to add about 1/2 pound of shock. It's normal because of the rain. And then I've corrected the tablet issue with the pool and the very hard water. So we should be able to hold some free chlorine in this pool from here forward. That fantastic leftover stuff. The pH was 7.4, so I didn't adjust anything with that. The chlorine was a little bit on the low side, so I added a ½ pound of chlorine shock just to help boost it. That can be normal after a heavy rain and bad weather like we had. And so I also tested the alkalinity today, and that was around 200, which is very high. I figured it would be high since we just added the initial dose of Supreme Plus at the beginning of last week. So I added about 2.5 gallons of acid to bring the alkalinity back down. The other thing that I did was I checked on the chlorine tablet. When I first tested the pool water last Monday, the calcium hardness was real high. It was in between like 475 and 525, which is pretty high. And that's having a bad effect on the dissolve rate of the chlorine tablets. As you saw when I showed you, not a whole lot of that tablet had dissolved. So, since the tablet isn't dissolving like it should be, the chlorine tablet itself isn't feeding the amount of chlorine that it should, because the calcium hardness is too high. The higher the hardness is in water in general, especially in pool water, the more difficult it is for things to dissolve into it. So, since the hardness is high, I added another tablet, and I opened the flow meter on the chlorinator up all the way. And we'll see come Monday whether or not that pool is holding free chlorine as it should be. And if it is, then I know that I need to keep 2 tablets in that chlorinator and have the flow meter all the way open. Now, I may not have to add both those tablets every week. I mean, you saw, we put 1 tablet in Monday, and today is Saturday, and it had barely even dissolved. So it may only be adding tablets once every 2 to 3 weeks. So I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that and monitor that. But the pool looked really nice. There was no cloudy water. It was nice and clear and blue still, even after all the rain and having no chlorine. And that's the benefit to borates and using the mineral system, is that even without chlorine, it's still killing bacteria, killing algae, keeping algae suppressed, keeping the water nice and clear. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our Facebook page, to our YouTube channel, subscribe to this blog. All those URLs are on riverbendpoolsupply.com. Our truckload sale is coming up, so be sure to check out the catalog. It's on the front page. And as always, thanks for choosing riverbendpoolsupply.com for all your swimming pool needs.